Picture this, a bright, sun-drenched morning in Chico, California. The town is alive with the gentle hum of daily life. Neighbors greet each other on the sidewalk, cyclists cruise past historic storefronts, and the scent of fresh coffee drifts from local cafes. Chico, with its small-town charm and close-knit community, seems peaceful on the surface. But today, something different is brewing beneath that calm exterior. Today marks a rare occasion. Congressman Doug LaMalfa is about to hold his first in-person town hall in nearly 8 years. For many residents, it's a long-awaited chance to see their representative face-to-face, to finally voice concerns that have been simmering for years. The anticipation is palpable as people file into the venue, clutching notepads, signs, and questions they've been saving for this very moment. Over 650 people squeeze into the auditorium, filling every seat and lining the walls. This isn't just a routine civic event. It's a gathering fueled by urgency and frustration. The crowd isn't here for pleasantries or photo ops. They're here to demand real answers from their elected official. The air inside is thick with tension, almost electric. You can feel the collective anxiety and impatience. This isn't a meet and greet. It's a reckoning, years in the making. People have come with stories of hardship, with grievances, and with the determination not to be brushed aside. Organizers do their best to keep order, but the usual rules and protocols seem flimsy against the tide of pent-up emotion. For many in the room, this is the first time in years they felt their voices might actually be heard, and they're not about to let the moment slip away. As LaMalfa steps onto the stage, the atmosphere shifts. Any polite smiles quickly fade, replaced by stern glares and a low, restless rumble of discontent. The congressman can sense the skepticism in the room. He's not among supporters, but among constituents demanding accountability. The crowd isn't interested in hearing about past achievements or political spin. They want answers. They want to know why their concerns have gone unaddressed, why their voices have felt ignored for so long. The event quickly transforms from a display of democracy in action to a pressure cooker on the verge of boiling over. Voices rise, tempers flare, and the line between order and chaos grows thin. LaMalfa tries to steer the conversation toward his vision for the district, but the crowd has a different agenda. They're not here for speeches. They're here for answers, for accountability, for change. Armed with pointed questions, years of frustration, and a fierce determination to be heard, the audience refuses to be silenced. Each hand raised is a story, a demand, a plea for recognition. This isn't just a town hall, it's a public reckoning, a moment when the community confronts its representative and insists on being seen and heard. The stakes feel higher than ever. The stage is set for a political meltdown. The tension is palpable, the energy volatile. Everyone in the room knows that what happens next could shape the relationship between Chico and its congressman for years to come. LaMalfa stands before a constituency at its breaking point, a community that feels pushed to the edge and is no longer willing to wait quietly for change. And as the meeting draws to a close, one thing is clear. The people of Chico are not leaving quietly. Their voices echo long after the doors close, a powerful reminder that democracy is alive, and sometimes it's loud. The first flashpoint in this heated town hall? Money. Specifically, the Trump administration's proposed budget, a document that would soon become the center of a storm. As the meeting begins, the tension in the room is already palpable, with constituents bracing themselves for what's to come. This budget doesn't just trim the fat, it slashes over $1 trillion from programs like Medicaid, Medicare, and the Affordable Care Act. For millions of Americans, these aren't just government line items, they're lifelines. They mean access to doctors, affordable prescriptions, and the security of knowing that a medical emergency won't lead to financial ruin. Congressman LaMalfa stands at the podium, defending the cuts as fiscal responsibility. He talks about balancing budgets and reducing government waste. But the crowd isn't buying it. The room erupts in boos, the sound echoing off the walls, drowning out his words. For the people in this room, these aren't abstract numbers or political talking points. They're the difference between seeing a doctor or not, between a hospital staying open or closing its doors. For the elderly, the sick, and families with young children, these cuts threaten their very well-being. The congressman tries to shift the conversation, talking about government waste and fraud. But all the crowd hears is that their health, their security, and their futures are on the chopping block. The fear and frustration in the room are impossible to ignore. The boos are more than just noise. They're a collective roar of defiance, a community standing up for itself. Each shout, each raised hand is a demand to be heard, a refusal to be ignored. This isn't just a policy disagreement, it's a fundamental clash of values. On one side, a congressman defending a Washington agenda. On the other, a crowd fighting for their families, their neighbors, and their community's future. LaMalfa repeats the party line, but the crowd pushes back with stories of lost coverage, rising costs, and loved ones who depend on these programs. The divide grows deeper with every exchange. The message from the crowd is unmistakable. You do not speak for us. Their voices rise together, a chorus of frustration and betrayal, demanding representation that reflects their needs. The divide here is deeply personal, and the anger is raw and real. For many, this isn't just about politics. It's about survival, dignity, and the right to be heard. The town hall transforms into a battleground, not just over policy, but over whose interests truly matter. Every question, every outburst, is a fight for the soul of the community. And as the meeting spirals, it's clear that LaMalfa is losing ground. The people's voices are louder, their resolve stronger, and their message impossible to ignore. Once the booing started, it never stopped. The air in the room thickened with tension, as if everyone had been waiting for this moment to finally let loose. The crowd's frustration, simmering for months or even years, erupted in a chorus of jeers and shouts that drowned out any attempt at order. It was clear from the very first outburst that this was no ordinary town hall. The town hall devolves into a verbal brawl. Anger fills the room, growing with every word LaMalfa utters. Each sentence he tries to deliver is met with louder interruptions, the crowd's energy feeding off itself, spiraling into chaos. The congressman's attempts to regain control only seem to inflame the audience further, as if every official response is a spark to dry tinder. People shout over him, challenge his every statement, and hurl accusations of liar at every turn. The room becomes a battleground of words, with constituents demanding answers and accountability. The shouts aren't just about policy, they're about broken trust, about feeling ignored, about years of pent-up disappointment finally finding a voice. This isn't a Q&A, it's a public shaming. The congressman stands alone at the front, facing a sea of angry faces, each one a reminder of promises unkept and grievances unaddressed. The event transforms from a forum for dialogue into a stage for collective outrage. Years of frustration explode and civility vanishes. The usual rules of decorum are tossed aside, replaced by raw emotion and unfiltered demands. The crowd's anger is not just loud, it's deeply personal, echoing the sense of betrayal that has built up over time. LaMalfa tries to pivot, but the crowd is relentless, grilling him on everything from immigration to the Capitol riot. No topic is off limits, and every answer he gives is met with skepticism or outright hostility. The questions come rapid fire, each one sharper than the last, as the audience refuses to let him off the hook. Each topic fuels the fire. The more issues are raised, the more the crowd's anger intensifies, creating a feedback loop of outrage and confrontation. The atmosphere is electric, charged with the collective energy of people who feel they have nothing left to lose. The event becomes a cathartic release for a community that felt abandoned. For many in the room, this is the first time they've truly been heard, even if it's through shouts and tears. The town hall transforms into a space where long-suppressed emotions finally break free, and the act of speaking out becomes an act of reclaiming power. The dam has broken, and the congressman is swept away by a tidal wave of grievances. He tries to respond, but the sheer force of the crowd's anger leaves him no room to maneuver. In that moment, the power dynamic shifts. The official is no longer in control. The people are. This is what happens when a politician avoids his constituents for years. The absence of real engagement, the failure to listen, all come crashing down in a single, unforgettable night. The crowd's fury is not just about one issue. It's about a pattern of neglect that can no longer be ignored. The social contract is shredded. The unspoken agreement between elected officials and the people they serve is torn apart, replaced by suspicion and resentment. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. And tonight, it feels almost impossible. The anger is messy, raw, and impossible to ignore. It spills out into the open, refusing to be contained by polite conversation or official talking points. The pain and disappointment in the room are palpable, a testament to just how much is at stake. Democracy, at its most unfiltered. This is what it looks like when the people demand to be heard, loud, passionate, and unwilling to settle for silence any longer. In the chaos, there is a strange kind of hope. The hope that, even in anger, democracy is alive and the people still have the power to hold their leaders accountable. Healthcare is the issue that truly ignites the crowd. In rural areas like Chico, cuts to Medicaid aren't just numbers. They threaten hospital closures and vital services. LaMalfa sticks to talking points about efficiency, but the audience wants real answers. They share stories of struggling to afford prescriptions, of mental health provider shortages, of disabled children relying on Medicaid. The congressman speaks in DC jargon. The crowd speaks the language of survival. The disconnect is staggering. These aren't abstract questions. They're cries for help. The crowd feels their lives are bargaining chips in a distant political game. The anger isn't just about LaMalfa. It's about a system that feels rigged against them. The debate reveals deep anxiety and distrust. For many, this is life and death, and the room is united in fear and frustration. Trump's presence looms over the event like a storm cloud. Every time LaMalfa praises Trump or defends his policies, the boos intensify. For much of the crowd, LaMalfa's loyalty to Trump is a betrayal. They challenge him on everything from tariffs hurting local farmers to his stance on the Capitol riot. His answers, deflections, and party lines only deepen the divide. The town hall becomes a microcosm of the Republican Civil War. LaMalfa is caught in the crossfire, unable to bridge the gap. The crowd's biggest frustration? Dodged questions. LaMalfa pivots, blames Democrats, and recites talking points instead of giving straight answers. The audience grows angrier, shouting, "Answer the question," and "Liar." When a veteran challenges him on VA funding, LaMalfa's evasions drive the man to walk out in disgust. These moments destroy trust and credibility. The congressman's refusal to engage authentically turns the event into a disaster. Instead of dialogue, there's only deeper division. The gap between representative and represented widens. Chico's chaos is a snapshot of America's deep polarization. The room is a battlefield, furious constituents on one side, a beleaguered congressman on the other. Civil discourse has broken down. Opponents are now enemies. Every issue is filtered through a partisan lens. The town hall mirrors the nation's toxic dynamic. No room for nuance, only sides. Hyper-partisanship makes governing nearly impossible. The event is a warning. Political battles aren't just on TV. They're tearing communities apart. Neighbors become adversaries. The chasm between viewpoints grows wider every day. If we can't talk in a town hall, how do we solve anything? After the shouting fades, what's next for LaMalfa? This town hall is a PR disaster, energizing his opponents and giving Democrats ammunition for redistricting. The anger over healthcare and Trump loyalty is real, and voters are paying attention. LaMalfa faces a choice: dismiss the outrage or see it as a wake-up call. If he can't rebuild trust and start a real dialogue, his political future is in jeopardy. The event exposes deep dissatisfaction in the district. The challenge now is to bridge the gap. Otherwise, his time in Congress may be running out. Chico's town hall raises a troubling question. What's the future of public meetings? If every event turns into a shouting match, will politicians stop showing up? Avoiding tough questions is safer, but it's dangerous for democracy. The anger is real, a symptom of a system under stress. We need politicians willing to listen and citizens willing to engage without shutting down dialogue. If we can't fix this, we risk losing one of democracy's most vital forums. The stakes for our future have never been higher.